and welcome to the second episode on the topic why I don't believe you attract what you are. A more accurate statement is you get to keep what you tolerate. Last week, we spoke about how your past trauma can train you not to see toxic behaviors as dangerous in other people. This week, we're going to talk about how trauma and negative experiences can create toxic traits in us that make us complementary to these toxic people. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Chido Mpofu. I'm your personal emotional intelligence detective. Welcome to the Fit with Chido family, where we go beyond physical fitness, striving for mental and emotional fitness. Just to give you a recap to jog your memory, last week we addressed the fact that everyone has character markers on them that someone else, when they meet them, can pick up on. They may not consciously be aware of what it means, but subconsciously they understand, is this someone I could get along with? Is there something about this person that's unsafe, or are they safe? And we addressed the fact that growing up in tough situations or having negative experiences in adulthood, prolonged experiences, messes with your ability to recognize toxic markers in people. The second part to stopping repeating patterns that are associated with finding yourself in relationships with toxic people is understanding what is in you, how you were conditioned by your experiences to be complementary to these toxic people. Everyone who's found themselves in a relationship with a toxic person has this one trait. And that trait is they don't recognize the fact that you get to choose someone too. Toxic and especially abusive people are very good at choosing. They choose their target. They are in the choosing business. Everyone who ends up in their life, they chose. It's not by chance. They watched them, assessed them, and made sure that they would be the right character for their circus and their play. And so what you need to recognize is it's two-way. You get to choose them back. One thing that is ingrained in you when you grow up in toxic environments is that you have to take whatever comes your way. You have to accept whatever you get. You don't get to choose your experiences. That is what you internalize. Everyone I have spoken to on a one-on-one, when I listen to people speaking, I can tell that they didn't choose the other person back. At least they were wooed, they were pursued, they were chased, but they didn't choose the other person back. There was no room for them to choose the other person back. The other person had already concluded how the experience is supposed to go, how the situation is supposed to end, how the relationship will progress. And I can tell you from experience that I was on that boat where people were pursuing me, whether it was relationships, even friendships, even at work. And I just thought that's how it's supposed to be, right? And I was never saying, yes, I want this person in my life, or no, I don't want this person in my life. If they said, oh, I want to be friends with you, I'd be like, okay, cool, let's get to know each other. That was it. It finally clicked for me that if I see something I don't like, then I get to say, no, I don't want you in my life. Even if the person was putting in effort, I have a right to say no. This is an example of how when you grow up in a certain environment or you go through something, it can ingrain in you certain thinking patterns or certain traits that make you a good target for toxic people. Here's another one. If you were always blamed for everything that happened, including situations where you weren't even in the country, you got the blame. It was you. It was your fault. People found a connection. They found a way to blame you for something that had nothing to do with you. You learned to be hyper accountable. And toxic people don't take accountability of anything. So they're looking for someone who has a high level of accountability. Now, if you add being blamed all the time for things, you're going to be exceptionally accountable. You might even take blame for things that had nothing to do with you. Here's a suggestion for the rest of the week. It's very difficult for you to try and pick up what traits are in you, here's an easier way to do it. I suggest that you look at all the toxic relationships you've been in, the relationships where people were abusive and controlling. I want you to jot down all of the behaviors that that person was exhibiting that were harming you. And then ask yourself, for this person to be able to do this behavior and get away with it, what behavior was I exhibiting? How was I reacting to their behavior? And then look at those behaviors and truthfully answer this question. Are these behaviors healthy and helpful? Are they promoting your peace and your safety? Are they allowing you to feel free? Are they allowing you to choose your experiences? Or they're putting you in the passenger seat where you follow other people, where other people's decisions affect your life, where you feel like you're at the mercy of other people. Let's end here today. Next week, we're going to talk about peace and safety. What is peace? What is safety? How can you assess when you feel peaceful and when you feel safe around people? How do you differentiate between safe people and unsafe people, even if on the outside this seems as though they are a certain way? Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. You have a lot of reflecting to do for this week. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you get notifications. My name is Chido Mpofu. I'm your personal emotional intelligence detective. Always keeping it real. I look forward to seeing you next time.